Hello, Dr. Wong. Hi. How are you today?
Hi, hi, how are you?
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I do appreciate your time, Dr. Wong, and look forward to learning a lot of you, a lot of insight from you to throughout today's webinar. And it really is it's an exciting moment for us because this will be the first time that Miracles of Capital will be held in Indonesia, and it's going to be a really exciting session and hopefully the beginning of many, many sessions. So we're here to talk about Miracles of Capital, and would like to, we're here to talk about Miracles of Capital, and would like to begin with the first question of the day. So could you tell us, just in a nutshell, what is the Miracles of Capital and why is it a miracle?
In the world of capital mechanism, a lot of things do not comply to our logic. Anything that do not comply to our logic, we just call it a miracle, right? Because it just do not comply to logic. So miracles of capital actually explore a lot of stuff that you think that it cannot happen, and it happened. So we call that a miracle as well. Right?
So things that are outside your expectation, something
Yeah.
which is have not been imagined before.
Yeah. For example, do you list a company when it's doing very well, or do you list a company when it's not doing well?
Well, I would assume when it's doing well.
Yeah, but a lot of people say it's doing so well. Why do I list? Right?
Yes.
So see, it defies our logic. So some of us actually think that we should actually list a company if it's not doing well. But if it's not doing well, who will allow you to list?
Yes.
So these are the domain that we are going to explore in the whole process, right? So for example, it's like a military. Do we have a strong military when we are at peace? Or do we actually have a strong military when we are at war? So again, it's a strategy, right? Mm-hmm. So many of us actually, we keep a strong military even when we are at peace. And someone will complain that you're spending so much resources. So it is against defy our logic.
Yes. And so how much of, let's talk about that a little bit, about how much of logic that is going to be defied. How much, before people come to the seminar, how much mindsets have they already set? If you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
And then when during the course and during the seminar, how much inspiration do you see, or revelation, or insight from the participants?
Now we're going to challenge your traditional thinking. Many of us, the way we think will be challenged because we always are more concerned with the stuff we can see. But in reality, the stuff that we can't see are more important because these are the ones that are going to challenge us. So we are going to explore a lot of mindset changes. We are going to challenge your thinking, and we're going to challenge quite a bit of your norm, so that you have to rethink yourself. And that is what we call the exponential growth of the mindset. The mindset will grow.
And so let's just talk about mindset for a second. What would you find in your previous history of doing MOC? What would be the biggest mindset challenge that most of your participants have?
Most of us will have a mental block.
Mental block.
Can't do it. No, I will never achieve that. Now, to break this mental block, it's not from me, it's not from you, it is himself or herself. So many times ourselves are the one who will have to face the mental challenge. So that transformation will have to happen on the first day of the MOC, right? So a lot of questions that we put, it's going to put you into a situation that your mind will have to respond. So that is the way that we're going to put and challenge you.
So do you get like moments of inspiration or understanding of like, oh, hey, I didn't know that I was thinking that way?
Yeah, a lot of things will say that you're going to have a lot of light bulb moments, a kind of things that probably will trigger the endorphin in your mind. They will going to secrete that. So you will feel a sense of enlightened, right? So that will be what we're going to trying to achieve.
Okay, so you were saying this now that this light bulb moments is the first day of the MOC. So is the first day of Miracles of Capitals dedicated to the mindset?
Yes, the first day we focus on trying to create an exponential capacity building So the mind will go through a capacity enlargement, right? And we also have to attack something that very much to yourself. We call the ego. You're going to feel yourself that your space of maneuvering will increase tremendously, because when your ego shrink, you have more space. When your ego is big, there's no space to maneuver. So a lot of these sort of things will be designed in such a way you yourself will redefine your ego, your presence. I think that is very important.
Would you say that this is the biggest part of the seminar?
No, a lot of the visibility and clarity. A lot can't see where they are going in the next 5 years, 7 years. In fact, many of us actually go on to embark on a program without realizing where we are heading. So this will actually challenge us quite a bit.
So it's about creating that first level of awareness.
Yeah, the first level of awareness about being yourself, where I am, where I'm heading, right? And this, we try to break a barrier. I can't get there. So we try to do it in such a way that you can see where you go there. We call that visibility. And the clarity will allow you to see each steps that you are going to take. So a lot of self-searching in the process.
Yes. Now, so this is quite interesting, as in the seminar is called Miracles of Capital, and I suppose my assumption, or somebody's assumption who wants to come for the seminar, will be thinking that this is about getting some investment and getting some money. But you speak about the first step being a mental first step, or a mindset as the first step.
No one will invest in someone who think that he can't do it. No one will invest in someone who do not know where he's heading. Many people think that, okay, if I have money, I'm going to do well. And our excuse is, Brother Wang Park, there's no money, I have no money. But the correct way is actually to make money. If you can't make money when you have no money, you're not going to be able to make money when you have money. Many of us here feel that, no, if I have money, I'm going to do that. Money is neutral. We call capital. Capital is neutral. It's actually, I would say, magnifying glass. If you do not know how to make money, when I magnify it, it's going to magnify your losing money ability. Now, if capital is neutral, if you can make money, when we pump capital with you, you're going to make a lot more money. But many of us can't make money, right? So what do? We actually thought that excuse that we have no capital. But once you put capital into it, I can assure you the capital is gone. So this one, we have to address it carefully. So we look into the process of protecting the shareholders, because people who put money with you. Now, we can actually raise money, but do you know how to earn money? And do you know how to distribute money? It's no good that we actually raise money and we do not know how to make money. And worse still, if we make money, we do not know how to distribute the money to all our shareholders. Yes. Many people have never paid dividend in their whole life. Yeah. So what do you expect? Will people invest in you? You pay dividend? I don't think so. So this course will clarify a lot of process, because many entrepreneurs become entrepreneur without going through actual training, right? Just have no choice, we become entrepreneur. And many of us graduated from the schools, we thought they were good, and we have never been trained in business. We have been trained in vocational employment. Yes. We are trained in employment, but we are not good in business. So do we actually create value? Most people, they are actually self-employed. Last time they were employed by someone else, but now they're actually merely self-employed. And because of this, there's no actual creation of value. They are not doing business, they're doing business. Very busy, very busy. Right.
Busyness versus business.
Yeah. So business, there must be a creation of value. Yeah. They must be doing a value creation, but instead we are doing self-employment.
Right? Yes. So did you find, you mentioned schools, did you find that schools and the education that people are receiving are very different, and so therefore you decided to create the seminar?
Well, I'm a curriculum developer. I develop curriculums for quite a bit of universities and polytechnics. But let's put it this way. Anything that even myself that I develop will be actually obsolete in 6 months. Imagine that. The moment you graduate from university in 6 months, it's actually obsolete. Yes. The only way for us to make it relevant is to touch on the fundamentals. Here, we have to grill you on the fundamentals, and one of the fundamentals is thinking. Now, in education, fine. In the past, we try to educate people. But today, many society actually indoctrinate people. Seriously. Because society that's indoctrinated is easier to control than a society society that is actually educated. Every organizations try to indoctrinate. There's propaganda. I mean, even religious groups, sometimes we have this problem of indoctrination. So it is very important for us to understand that the process of you being able to be educated, right? So instead of educating you, we want you to have the tools of the components of being educated. Now today, internet is quite pervasive. So one of the things that we teach heavily and stimulate heavily is thinking skill. I mean, it's an all-round, three-dimensional thinking. You look into, you look outside, you look beyond, okay? You look from the angle, from left to right. Every items that we explore will be through macro view and also micro view. I think that is the whole approach that we're going to use.
And so you mentioned you are a developer of curriculum. And so you've developed this curriculum, which is the Miracles of Capital Seminar, which is a 3-day seminar. I mean, yep. We can talk a little bit like this is something that you would probably learn maybe in a business school. But business school might take 9 months. Tell me, how is it different?
Yeah, there's a problem. In the business school, we have to build something for 9 months, for 3 years. But here, we are trying to condense it into 3 days. So it is much more heavy in the content. It's more interactive, right? But unlike a business school, the actual discipline that we're going to touch on will be the area of corporate finance and financial control. Right? This will be the area. But the other thing that we are going to touch on will be equity capital. These are the things that we are going to talk about. Except that it's not really taught in the university. In university, we'll teach you some of the theories, right? And even you go to best university, I can tell you they are not going to teach this. So these are used by the finance professional in the sector of corporate finance. And even your corporate finance guy may not know this because in the uni that he was trained, he was just doing some basic theories and so on. Now we're going to teach you methodology as well. Method. You don't need to be a mathematical genius, but you must know how to press a calculator in order to understand this class, right? So the prerequisite is that you must have a calculator or bring your mobile phone. Okay, you have a calculator, then we'll be able to do simple calculating. I'll teach formula as well, but only one formula. The formula will be quite straightforward. It is easy to understand, but anyone probably with IQ of 20 and above, okay, 20, will be able to understand this. So my IQ is quite low, but I do find that it is easy for me to understand this formula.
So you said there's only one formula that you're going to be teaching.
There's a dilution path formula. Now, many people seek listing as a path forward for their venture, but did they become Jeff Bezos? Did they become Mark Zuckerberg? Did they become Jack Ma? No, they did not. Why? They have just done a process called listing. So some tried OTC, some bought shell companies. So what is the focus of what we are going to do in Jakarta? Now, what we are going to do is that we may to expose you to how exponential growth of capital works. Means your capital actually grow. Now, otherwise, no matter how hard you work, you're not going to be the next unicorn. You're not going to be the next Tokopedia, the next Gojek, or the next Grab. It is very important for us to understand that you have to build your capital base. And this capital growth, we call the capital gain, is a process that we design, and it is tax-free in many jurisdictions. Now, if you understand this, you can understand why we can create those people listed on the Forbes 500. If you do not understand this, our biggest problem is that you are going to have people who have just done a listing, and they are going to continue to be poor, except that they can't tell you that they have no money because they are listed. So it is very, very sad. Bear in mind, people like us who are bankers, we call ourselves golden handshake. And the entrepreneurs will be golden handcuff. It's a handcuff, you have cuff, but it's gold, and your price will collapse, your share price. So in order for us to prevent that, we are going to teach you how KPIs are being formed, right, and transformed from your current situation.
So what's that main cause, though? You mentioned just now that a lot of the founders or people who have taken their businesses to listing, they still find themselves caught in their business, the golden handcuff, as you say. What is the number one reason? Is it, again, a mindset, or is it a structural, maybe business structure issue?
The way the business are structured, right? Many of us have structured the business wrongly. So the methodology will be discussed on the day 2. So we actually explore how you actually position the business to allow us to structure it correctly. So many people have structured the business wrongly, and the whole process was not done correctly. So, for example, is it good that if the country is rich and the people is poor? Maybe not. What about being rich and the country is poor? Also not good. Now let's put it as a company. Will it be good if the company is rich and the shareholders are poor? I think it's not good. What about shareholders all rich, the company is being poor? I think that's also not good. So many companies has become poor because of the corporate governance not done properly. Now the ideal situation is that the company is valuable and the shareholders are rich. Now that is the philosophy that we're going to do throughout the 3 days, right? So on the day 2, the focus will be on the exponential growth of capital, how we build the capital base, right? And we'll transfer the capital base and also liquidity and also the value creation back to shareholders. So there's a thing called Series A, Series B, Series C, Series D. Now any company can do that, but it's not good if you do not transfer the liquidity base back to the shareholder. So it's a philosophy of design. So we call it the best practice.
Best practices. Okay, so I've had this discussion sometimes with some founders of startups who, as in general, they know about each level of funding, the Series A, the Seed A, Series round, but they have very different business models and business structures compared to, let's say, a traditional business, which maybe is very viable. It's been doing business for a while, but they haven't done any kind of fundraising. They've probably grown their business organically. So would MOC reflect in both cultures or both business models?
A lot of people do not reflect. We know there's a series that we raise fund, right? We have raised the fund, but the problem is that most of the shareholders do not benefit from the fundraising. So we call that the best practice. Now, as a matter of philosophy, we are going to teach a methodology that is used widely by the bankers to transfer wealth from the corporate legally to the shareholders, right? Now, this is very important because the money that we raise belongs to the company. So we will tell you how the share splits and the bonus shares are done, right? And the liquidity, how actually we enhance the liquidity, and the spirit behind why share splits are done. A lot of people do not understand that we can control the share price. The company must, to a certain extent, build enough safeguard to protect the shareholders. And these are the shareholders who put the money in different rounds. And there must be equanimity why people are coming for Series C instead of Series A. So there must be a certain risk reduction in the whole process. So when the KPI is done, but there are so few people who actually know how to calculate the KPI. And the KPI, they have to be quantified into we call the budget. So we address both the SME, acknowledging their position, but we are going to migrate them into equity capital. I tell you why.
Okay.
Now you have a very beautiful cafe, maybe in Kuningan.
Yes.
Beautiful cafe. But unfortunately, your competitor is called Starbucks. And Starbucks use public money, and you use your father's money. How can we compete? Right? And this thing repeats itself again and again. You are driving a good taxi, and then here comes someone called Grab, okay, who actually raised funds from the whole world, billions of US dollars. And you try to build something from a traditional way of doing that. So we have to re-equip all the SME to understand the landscape that we are competing. And the business model is changing so fast. Now, we are going to explore business model that you cannot see. Business model that you and me can see, no problem.
Yes.
But there are so many business models that we can't see, and they are actually cannibalizing into your area. The guy who cannibalized on the food industry was not a food industry. It's a takeaway, an IT company, right? Food Panda. Yeah, companies. And the guy who's fighting against your clothing industry are not your clothing industry. These are the e-commerce companies that are challenging you. So we have to understand how they operate so that we can actually respond properly. But unfortunately, we don't teach this in business school.
I like what you said just now about what is hidden is what really matters. So can you tell us something which is on the surface straight away, what is hidden from what people see the Miracles of Capital seminar? So far, they've heard that this Miracles of Capital is about changing a mindset and then your business structure. But what is actually the hidden element of Miracles of Capital?
So, for example, the hidden element, the business model.
Mm-hmm.
Thought this guy was earning money from here, you'd be very shocked that they are not making money from there, right? So these are how we explore all the case study. So we're going to bring you through a few series of cases so they can understand the ideas of what is being hidden. For example, many people will equate a construction firm with making money from construction.
Yeah.
Now you're doing construction, you're doing infrastructure, but then you'll be shocked if the construction firm actually do not make money from construction.
Mm-hmm.
For that reason, the guy who's doing your high-speed rail is not making money from high-speed rail. And now you have a small contractor who tried to make money from constructing infrastructure, will be totally wiped out when he actually compete against this guy.
Yeah.
Now this is the danger. So you thought that someone is doing food industry, but he's not making money from food industry. And suddenly, the business model that he deploy will kill you without you realizing it. So these are the hidden ones. But again, some of these are hidden right in front of you. They are not hidden behind. They are hiding right in front of your eyes, and you didn't realize that. So the kind of sensitivity level is so important.
Could it be, let's say I have a business and I've been running my business for 5-6 years. I've been running it with enough organic growth. But for those 5 years, let's say I've been selling food in a cafe. Yeah, but not really realizing that I'm actually selling something else, or the hidden factor. Now, is it possible for a business to sustain selling the surface known without addressing the unknown?
It'll be very difficult for businesses who still choose to do just one level of income.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, you're going to face a market that's gradually becoming more challenging.
Yes.
You're going to face competitors who have access to better resources and capital than you. And this will actually challenge many of us. We cannot expect the business landscape to become easier. Every year it's going to become more and more tough. But you have not changed in many years. I can tell you every year incrementally, you can expect 10 to 15% difficulty increases, but your methodology has remained same for 5 years, 7 years. Now that is the danger. And what's the reason that remain the same? Because your mindset is the same. You have never changed with times. Look at the car model. If the car model don't change with times, we are going to have a big problem. Look at our gadgets, our mobile phone. If your gadget don't change in time, there's a problem. But look at your company. Did it change? No. And your staff, still the same. Now that is the problem. But the landscape of business have changed. Even politics have changed. Even policy have changed. But your method of doing business was not changed for 20 years. And how do we know that whether we do it right or wrong? Now, let me ask you one thing. Tomorrow, your cash flow stop. Cash flow stop.
Okay.
Surviving. Now, if your cash flow stop and you no longer survive, this means you have depleted all your capital.
Yeah.
Not replenish capital. You did not even make back the capital. There's no return. Right?
Okay.
Have you ever paid a dividend to your investors?
Let's assume I haven't.
Yeah, that's the problem. You're only be paying a salary. I've never seen a guy who takes salary become rich in the world.
Yes. I see.
Right? It is always the guy who takes dividend, but you have never paid a dividend. You have never paid a single cent dividend. Right? We call that free cash flow. So you cannot even get a free cash flow from your operation. Something is seriously wrong in the way you structure the firm. And the more you work on the company, the more the money depleted. And it's depleting so slowly, you can't see it. And then in the next 4 to 5 years, you realize you have no more capital. Right? No more capital. Zero capital. I think that's the problem.
And then after that, what happens for you?
You start to borrow money. Yeah, in debt. You move from capital cycle into debt cycle. Utang.
Utang, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, people, you can think, flashback, if we rewind to 5 years ago when that person began the business, let's say when I began the business. I began the business because I wanted...
Or not, whether you like it or not, here's some capital. Small, but still have capital.
I usually, it's like my own money or my dad, my mom, or my friends. I get a bit of money, I put that money in and I start the business.
traditionally, we use our friends' money, our brothers' money, our father's money,
Mm-hmm.
right? And family's money. And then later we have some people like Ashraf. We call them the fools, right? Friends, family, and fools. So in the investment community, we call them angels.
Angels.
Your friend, your families, and the fools. 3F, right? This is not coined by me. It's by the investment community, right? So many of us, we start that. But later part, we meet people who's good. We call Series A.
Yep.
People who believe in you. They saw what you're doing. We call that people who believe in your aspiration, aspiracy. They believe in your aspiration, and that's why they are going to invest with you. They're going to walk the journey with you.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the institutional guy, right? So and later the venture capital guy will come in, right? And the private equity will come in, and that's the thing that push things like Tokopedia, that push the Grab, the Gojeks into what they are today. So many people think that I can't do it. No, you have not even tried it. Have you ever tried it?
Yeah.
As legal, as long as legal, you can do it.
Yes. Again, this really goes back to that mindset again. People start business generally because they want to. The reasons why. If I do a seminar and I ask people why have you started a business, they say they want freedom. They want to create cash flow for the family. They want to create legacy. Maybe they want to create opportunities, and they want to solve a problem which they thought personally I can sell. But not a lot of people think about the end of the business.
Yeah.
So maybe we can let's talk about like a little bit about that mindset of when you start a business. I think everybody's idea is this business is going to go on forever, but really, should you be thinking about the end?
Yeah. We wanted to build legacy. We wanted to build cash flow.
Yes.
Now
Freedom.
let's look. There are only three ending. Right? Three ending. Number one, the company closed down. It went broke. Went bankrupt. Now that's the fact. Or it died. Right? This is something that a lot of people are not ready for.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not change the company, let me tell you that the ending is that it will be broke. It will be finished. It's kaput. It's finished. Now the second ending is that you sell it. It was bought by someone. Merger acquisition. Right? So that one, you lose control of the company. And the third one, you list it in the stock exchange. So you really have a legacy. You really build enough safety net and a retirement egg for the whole family. So a lot of people didn't realize that no matter how hard you work, even the street vendor out there, his company is going to close down. Succession planning is also something we'll look at. How people will take over your company. Someone you love or some for the staff, someone you believe in, taking over a company as well. Now, if not, we're going to have a problem. Today, we are competing on three fronts. Okay, we are competing on the front of ideas, very important, right? So, who will have the best idea? Who has the most workable idea? Who has the idea that can get the support will win. The second front that we compete is talent. Okay, people. These are the people that will stand with you, employed by you, work with you, fight with you, and so on. And the third, we compete on capital. And if you think the capital means going to the bank to borrow money, let me tell you, the bank will not lend you money. Why? Because the project is feasible, project is viable, but it's not bankable. Bankability is so important. I know you have a good projects. It's feasible, it's viable, but it's just not bankable because you did not comply to the whole due diligence process. So in a way, the next 3 days, every item that we go through with you is a checklist. Business model is, after all, just one checklist.
Mm-hmm.
Financial roadmap is only the other checklist. The KPI are the checklist. Okay. In fact, the role and responsibility are so important. How many of us know the role of the CEO, the CFO, and the COO? Not even the CEO knows this. The company is owned by the board, owned by the shareholders.
Mm-hmm.
The company is owned by the shareholders. It's managed by the board. The board are the representative, wakil, to the shareholders. They must defend shareholder. They are not here to help the management. Right? So because we have multiple roles, we are the shareholders, we are the directors, we are the management, so we mix it up. Management are the best guy for the job.
Yep.
They are someone we take from the markets to do the job. The KPI are set by the board so that the shareholder have a return. And the management must execute that. But how many of us employ good management better than us? No. We employ someone convenient. We did not employ someone better than us for the job. We must build enough safeguard. So that's why the financial control, we build enough safeguard so that we can employ outside people smarter than us, better than us to work for us. But most people can't because we didn't build a safeguard. So you put someone very smart in front of you, you're afraid of losing control. You're afraid that he'll use all the money. So that's why we put our sister, our brother-in-law, our wife to control the finance. No, you can't. You're supposed to get the best guy for the job. We are not going to buy a private jet and ask our mother-in-law to fly it. We're going to get a pilot, right?
Yes.
A good pilot to fly it. So the company needs to be piloted by extremely good CEO. But how many CEO are good? You have to train the CEO from inside. The CEO is someone who must have the whole business plan. Now, if a CEO have no business plan, he can actually ask a consultant to help. Now, with the business plan, the COO must arrange the entire calendar of events, right? Every single item for the next 5 years. Long-term 5 years, medium-term 3 years, short-term 1 year. This is the era of the internet. Not 10 years, but 5, 3, and 1. Now, if the COO cannot arrange the calendar of events, the CFO will not be able to build a budget. The budget is to support the events, right? So we must know all this. So in order to get the budget, the CFO must have good relationship with the banking group side or investor relationship management. The COO must have customer relationship management, CRM, while the CEO must have strategic relationship and all this stuff with all the industry guys. Now, if these three fundamentals, the CEO, the CFO, CEO do not understand, the company is lousy. Mm-hmm. It's investment grade. So you lose just because the manpower is not investment grade. And we could have employed someone who are investment grade in the first place because we are paying salary. And if you yourself is a CEO, then you have to come to work 9 to 5. Bukan suka hati, but you really have to come. Yeah. Why? Taking salary is a job, right? Everyone who take a salary must come 9 to 5. You do not come, please take leave. But then many of us reward ourselves as a CEO, and we do not have the discipline to come to work. So what will happen? There's no leadership because you are on holiday. So why? We should actually be good shareholders. If there's dividend, why should I work? I should be playing golf and getting my dividend. But again, your structure, salah, you never structure it correctly. So this is very important for us to make sure that we structure the firm correctly. So day 1, we structure the firm correctly. And day 3, we see how the structure actually will benefit us.
Yes. But of course, Dr. Wong, you're talking about, let's say, this sounds like the architecture of the business, correct?
Yes, the structuring. The
structuring of the business. Now, if let's say I've started a new business, I might have skills in, let's say, doing the operation of the business. Let's say I know how to run a restaurant, so I open up a restaurant, yeah. But I have no idea about this architecture. How am I supposed to spend my time when I'm operating the business, working in the business, compared to working on the business, getting the right structure, getting the right architecture? It sounds it's great to have. And a lot of the conversations I've had with people about MOC is like, well, yeah, when we have enough time, when the company is running and it's comfortable and I'm making a little bit more money, then I will start working on my structure. So how are they supposed to balance it, and how are they supposed to handle that?
Well, the one that we are doing now is called the market mechanism. Mm-hmm. The one that you're busy doing that. By right, the market mechanism must be handled by people you employ. You are the owner of the business. You're worried about the value of the business. As a shareholder, as a director, you should be doing capital mechanism. The things that we're going to build over and above what you're building now, which is called the market mechanism. We're building the capital mechanism. So we are going to introduce you the concept of capital mechanism. Now, this is very important because if we keep doing the market mechanism, we're going to be caught in this mindset. Now, let's look at this mindset.
Yes.
Every chef, okay, tukang masak, every
chef kan?
Yeah, have a dream to own a restaurant.
Yes.
But must restaurant be owned by a chef? No, Ashraf can own a restaurant. Yeah. Ashraf can't cook, but he can own a restaurant. Now that is very, very important. Many of us didn't realize that we can employ the best guy to work for us, right? So what do we do? What should Ashraf be doing? In the kitchen? No. He should be building the business of the restaurant. Ashraf will be thinking of how to build his into a chain, right? Only then people like me will feel that I want to invest in Ashraf. Otherwise, if Ashraf is cooking, then I may say eat at his house. Ashraf, eat in your house better. It's not business. So it is very important for us to understand there are two parts to the business, the market mechanism and the capital mechanism. Now, if you're still struggling with market mechanism, we call you the bottleneck. You are, after all, a bottleneck in the business. How do I know whether it's bottleneck? Tomorrow, if I remove you from your business and the business die, no more, kaput, alas, then this means that the business, you are in a bottleneck situation.
Okay.
If I remove you from the whole organization, the business still run. Now that's good. Maybe now my son will get my shares, but the business still run, with or without me. So that is a measurement of a good company. We call that as well-structured company. So we have to do a restructuring.
If you don't mind, I jump in for a second. That's a great question you can have here for anybody who's running business about what if I step away from my business right now? Will my business continue? Will it grow or will it die? And that would tell you about this. That would give you the answer to how your business is structured. Am I correct?
Yes.
I see.
Structure.
Yes.
If you structure properly, the company should be self. If you structure wrongly, you'll be so busy doing business, not business. But so this is very, very important. So many of us are structuring the firm wrongly. It is so important. So for that, what do we do? Now we are going to explore on the third day how you restructure your firm into a joint stock company. Right? If you are still running on a small holding, you are not able to list because listing means there must be a free float of X number of investors. So it's a joint stock company. Many of us are owner of a company, but we have to make them into a group. So your mindset has to jump from a company to a group. And to grow from here to a group, you have to be restructured. So we are going to do the process of restructuring first time in your mind. Why? If it happens first time in your mind, the second time it can happen in reality. If the first time never happened in your mind, you are not going to do it. Right? Absolutely. So this is very, very important.
Absolutely. And just to all the people who are listening right now, to the callers right now, I think from a lot of our conversation right now is about the importance of that mindset. And I think before we go into the deeper dive into that mindset, if right now you're feeling that, wait, there is something here that you want to explore, I asked you guys to call the number which is available on the screen or in the website and book yourself a call with our strategic analysts and our consultants. With this call, you get a 1-hour free call where you can start to discuss the mindset change in which you would like to take and the steps towards achieving those changes. What's valuable to you and what's important to you. And that understanding that, hey, this mindset is actually hidden. Isn't that right, Dr. Wong? This moment in time, my current mindset is hidden. So like you said, in business, it's about, Uber is not selling cars or not selling taxi rides. It's actually selling a platform, enabling people to connect. It's a logistics company, not a taxi company in that sense. A restaurant is not just selling hamburgers and food, it's selling lifestyle and concept. And those things which are hidden are just like that mindset. And that mindset is also hidden. And you don't know that it's there, maybe. It's something which is controlling part of your decision making without knowing.
Let me show you why you should call this number.
Yes.
Because we are going to reposition your thinking.
Yes.
The world today do not compete big versus small. A country like China and a country like Singapore, they can compete. Because we do not compete based on market size and price. Now it is on the business model. We compete based on the strategy. Now the world is moving towards small, it's a level playing field. You realize we are competing against city to city. Bandaraya dengan bandaraya, kota dengan kota. Because now, Dubai, Singapore, We do not compete against Australia. It's Sydney, okay, Shanghai.
Correct.
We don't compete against China,
Yes.
right? We are doing Kota Jakarta, right? Kuala Lumpur and Mumbai. We compete against Warsaw, not Poland, Warsaw,
Yep.
Johannesburg, right? Not Bloemfontein. So it is very important for us to understand that there's no disadvantage being small. It is actually measured by how you have access to capital.
Yes.
You don't have base in New York. Microsoft not based in New York. It is from the hometown, right? You can be in Surabaya for all you care if you have access to capital,
Yep.
right? Today, the whole world is quite flat as a level playing field. So we should understand that we should not feel inferior. I'm a small SME, but look, I can compete against you. Many of the best software are small company, but they have access to capital. But how do you have access to capital? If you comply to the checklist. So we will go through the checklist with you. Why? Why? Because that will make due diligence very, very easy for everyone.
Investors, yes.
Now, if we can build that, I can scale, build business that can scale, that can be repeated, right? Don't build something that is very fixed to yourself. Now, if you do that, you can be a small holder, right? We need it to be scalable, something that can repeat. So a simple idea that can repeat will be powerful. In fact, all the best ideas are simple ideas, not complex ideas.
Absolutely.
Right? So we have to make things simple. So these 3 days, we are going to explore some simple but powerful ideas. So I think it owe it to ourselves that we should call this number because we have access to that. Now, the only thing that will stop us actually is that we have no chance. We have never seen somebody. Now it's here right in Jakarta. Right? You can actually come, just need to dial a number, give yourself a chance. And this is not about attending something. If you do not invest in yourself, who is going to invest in you? I will not going to invest in someone that is not going to invest in themselves.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's a huge. I think the main core of what you've been speaking so far about something that is hidden and to uncover. It's about changing that mindset of thinking. We're not competing small against big anymore. We're competing against idea versus idea. We're competing against strategy versus strategy, and that. Even the roles which you've been talking about, the role of a business owner and the chef and the cook and the marketing guy, it's all about how you see and what is it that you're seeing in front of you. The business owner is to look at that vision that he has for the company, the aspiration that he has for the company and for the people who are receiving the value from the company. And then about the valuation of the country, which I think for me, valuation just means how much value can you create for the people around you who is benefiting from the business.
So the basic things that we create, number one is for the shareholder, right, who have invested money in the whole thing. Of course, we get a salary because you're an officer of the company. Number two, we build for the stakeholder, supply chain, community, and so on. Number three is for the country, right? Because business actually part the economic lifeline of the country. And then number four, for humanity. This is very important. So every small thing that we do in this world, if you fulfill all the needs of this, you will get tremendous support. So what do? I think it's good for us to check our ideas. So just call the number and probably will help you meet someone who will clarify your thinking, to have both visibility and clarity of the next steps ahead. Otherwise, we are all wasting our time. We do things for the last few years, we're going nowhere. Right? We are not heading anywhere. The other tujuan, right? There's no destination. We should have a destination. We should have a hala tuju. We have a direction. This is so important for all of us. And it should not be something that you cannot achieve. We must do a game plan, okay? The whole master plan that can be achieved in 36 months, maybe as short as 24 months, maybe as long as 50 months, 48 months. So 4 years plan, a 3 years plan, a 2.5 years plan, a 5 years plan, good enough, right? At least you have a game plan that we can complete and can review. Now, many of us are just gambling. Why? We are putting our faith, hoping there's a surplus, hoping. Now, I think that is not the right spirit, whether morally or whether religiously, I think spiritually, we should be actually get a lot more time for ourselves by freeing ourselves for other things. Ashraf?
Yes. The last question that we have here as we wrap this up is that uh, this changing of the mindset, restructuring of companies, and creation of the miracles of capital. Can you tell me what was your light bulb moment, Dr. Wong, where you decided to create this seminar and to share this knowledge and this wealth, which I think even this wealth and this knowledge also is something that was hidden from the world, before the world of startup, and it was only known by the big corporate guys or the big, upper tier, rich elite of the world who knew about this game of capital. What was your light bulb moment?
It is something very personal journey. When I start to share, I was surprised that I become more clear. The more I share, the more clear I become. The more I share, the more I gain. The more I get a lot more knowledge. And suddenly, I realized that there's a difference between being wealthy and being rich. Even when you're not rich, you can become very wealthy. So I gained tremendous friendship across the world. I gained tremendous access to resources. You don't have to be rich to become wealthy. So the third day, one thing I learned is that we have to when we share, become wealthy. And so that was a very enlightening journey for myself.
That actually touches a very interesting point. Again, thinking about mindset. If I own a company, I'm thinking, I own this. This is mine. I don't want to give it away. If I want to hire somebody who's better than me, I think I'm going to lose control of my business and they're going to take it away from me. And if I'm going to sell my business, parts of my share, that means I'm going to own less of my business. The whole illusion of control. And also wanting to hold on and saying I don't want to spend that money on something, especially myself or my own investment. I don't want to put that money down or risk it. But you're saying here that the more you give, the more you share, the more value you're creating. So that mindset, where does that come from? How do we get that mindset?
You explore is from yourself, the mindset. Now, it is very important because many of us, we did not realize, although we know it's a fact, we come to this world empty-handed. Mm-hmm. We're going to leave this world empty-handed. Money was not important, but it's our duty because it's resources that was entrusted to us to help others. Right? So when you're wealthy, one of the main duty you realize that the upper calling, is that you have to help a lot of people who are less fortunate than us. We have more than enough, definitely. And this is more like a kind of blessings, right? It is something that you will experience in the whole journey. It is really a miracle, right? So enjoy the miracle of capital.
Again, bringing that back round again to the miracles of capital, and the ability to reveal things which have never been seen before, reveal mindsets which have been maybe making your decisions for you, and the decision to change that mindset means you can change the sort of decisions you make and change the results that you are receiving, and how all of that falls into the using those miracles in the form of capital, which really it's just a plan. It's just a roadmap. This is what I'm getting from this discussion. It's just an architecture. It's a structure. It's knowing your 1 year, 3 year, 5 year goals, knowing what number to hit for your financially, so that then knowing your KPIs. Then once you've got these KPIs in place, then your CEO can say, well, this is what we need to do in order to hit this. Your CFOs can say, well, okay, this is the budgets which are out for this. So make sure that this CEO, make sure that this happens within that budget. And all of this, once you have that clarity, then you'll be able to see the steps, you can see the plan. And coming from the opposite point of view, as an investor, you look at somebody who has that. Not only do you see his vision, but you see his plan. And that is what gives confidence towards somebody to invest in a business.
Yeah, and me, yes, at just today, my colleague that Ashraf, you're going to provide the screen,
yep.
Right? And I hope that you have a pleasant journey.
Yes. Dr. Wong, thank you very much for your time. It's been a great discussion, and I look forward to seeing you in Jakarta at the dates seen at the bottom of the screen here, and also to start beginning my journey towards creating MOC for the people of Indonesia.
Yes, thank you, Ashraf.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wong. Have a great
Bye.
day. Bye-bye.